Be honest guys, when you think of London, what do you think? Do you think of deprivation? Do you think of a high crime rate? Or do you think you're just not welcome there? Well, I've been to pretty much every borough in London, and I decided today to make a video about the 3 worst boroughs in all of London. Let's go through them from the 3rd worst to the very worst. Now, in the 3rd spot, it might be one that surprises you guys, and that is going to be Camden. It's kind of surprising because it's quite a fairly touristy part of London. You've got the beautiful market, for example. I mean, to me, it's tourist tack, but to a lot of people, they love the vibe. It's very Brighton-esque, edgy, that sort of thing. But nonetheless, the facts are this: it's one of the worst boroughs in London for crime, in particular knife crime. And when you go there, the amount of homeless people I saw was absolutely staggering. It's very sad to see, especially right now. I'm in the Balkans, one of the poorest regions of Europe, but everyone's very friendly. It's the safest place in Europe as well. It's just a generally really nice place. Let's look at some of the footage and let's see what happened when I was there in Camden. In ahead, you can see the same thing again. More and more sort of ramshackle tents just everywhere. Well, right now we're walking from Camden to central London again, somewhere that should be very, very modern. And to be fair, the buildings behind me and in front of me you've even got the BT building in front, which is very beautiful. But then the contrast is that. And all city is going to be a sort of a microcosm for everything and every issue and every positive that goes on in the country. But London in particular, it's just so diverse, it's so different. It literally feels like a different country, for better or worse. I'm not going to say nothing, but it certainly makes you think. It really does. I mean, how does a city like this, that's this prosperous, also end up like that in the exact same street? Check this out. It's like an old abandoned pub. You can see the old sign there with the windows sort of falling down and being a bit disheveled really, and that sign's just completely, you can't even see what used to be on it. What a shame. So now we're in a random neighbourhood in Camden. I've purposely walked a few streets out just to show you what it's like here, and despite being, I believe, the 2nd most dangerous borough in all of London, it actually looks pretty fine. Like, yeah, the high street, there's a few homeless people, you know, there's a few dodgy faces looking about, that sort of thing, but it's not too bad compared to, especially where we just went in Marylebone, which isn't even in the top 10 of most dangerous parts of London. But look at it. It looks fine to me. Don't really see, it looks like a pretty average to rich, if anything, area. I mean, these are probably very, very expensive, $500,000 for a 1-bed apartment, to be honest. I mean, you've got Camden Market literally about a 10-minute walk over there, so I can imagine it's quite expensive. I certainly can't bloody afford it. There we go, everyone. That was London. What did you think? Has it certainly gone downhill? Absolutely. This is not the city that I knew 10 years ago when I used to come here as a kid. However, is it all doom and gloom? Absolutely not. I mean, we went to Regent's Park. Some parts of Camden were actually quite nice, and it wasn't as bad as I thought in that so-called 2nd most dangerous borough in all of London. So as a result, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It's not too bad, but it's definitely gone downhill, and it is very depressing, to be honest, to see where the city's gone in the last few years due to the governmental policies, basically. Here we're in the Camden Market, and there's a hell of a lot of choice with food. You've got churros, fish and chips, Mexican, meat. There's all sorts. It's bloody busy, so I'm going to make this short and sweet for you because I don't really want to be here. I'm just doing it for the video. To be honest, it's the kind of place I hate. It's way too crowded for me. But nonetheless, if you want to try a little bit of everything, a little bit of cuisine from Japan, a little bit of Indian food, this is a really good place to go, right? The kind of people that go here are really easygoing, light-hearted, yeah. It's a nice little adventure as well to get some knickknacks, some souvenirs of London as well. But man, it's noisy. There's a lot going on. There really is. There's a lot going on, basically. You should probably visit here if this is your scene. If you're on peace and quiet, maybe just go here for a quick beer and then go. But there is Duck World, so it does gain a point for that. At number 2 on our list is going to have to go to Tower Hamlets, predominantly the Poplar region inside the Tower Hamlets. Now, the reason for that is obviously it's got a high crime rate. Most of London does. That's not what necessarily makes this place stand out. It's just the levels of deprivation there are absolutely staggering. When I was there, you go to some of these markets and literally like everyone stares at you. You just don't feel welcome there at all. very opposite to here in Croatia, and when I was in Bosnia, Montenegro, Serbia. Very, very different vibe. But when you're walking around the markets there, you just don't feel welcome. Everyone literally stares at you. And I think that's a reminder of when I went to Ezra Road. Obviously this isn't in Tower Hamlets, but of what happened there. When you go into some of these local spots, when you go to Tower Hamlets, when you go to Poplar, those kind of places, they're not welcome to outsiders. They're not necessarily used to it. And when you go around, in particular filming, generally filming about how bad it is, semi fair enough, they're gonna get a little bit pissy. Now, nothing really bad happened there, to be honest. I had one or two crackheads sort of go up to me, ask for money. I never forget, I never got it on camera, but I was just eating some like these spicy Indian crisp things, well, Bangladeshi crisp things, which are pretty good. And some random dude just comes up to me and he's like, I've just been released from the asylum, can I have some money for the bus? I'm like, no mate. Anyways, yeah, awful place, hellhole. There's no other way to put it. I'd love to bust this video up and say, well, it's not that bad, but it is that bad. And with that, that's in number 2. But let's have a look and see what happened. Go back, as you're going to see in a minute, guys, it does change quite drastically. Well, if you ever need some reading material, free Islamic books they come. You've got the Quran there, you've got Islam at a glance, all sorts. Literally, we've just walked, this is about 10 seconds after the last clip, we've walked into here and there's just unfortunately it's just loads of random, almost rubble outside people's houses. I wasn't really expecting that. You've got these old, almost Victorian era houses, they look very nice, but the super modern buildings compared to here, I mean, you can see them in the background. They're literally one street away, and it's not even like a really gradual fade. It just turns drastically from, well, Canary Wharf, banking district, wealth, to here, where it's one of the most deprived parts of the entire country and the most deprived part of London. What a shame. Well, I think I know why there's the Quran being given out here. It's because Tower Hamlets is the biggest Bangladeshi community in all of England and all of London for that matter. So that's most likely why they're giving them out there here, as most people here don't have the same religion as some other parts of London, of course. Look how that goes quite high up as well. Came here most likely before Canary Wharf, of course, and once again you can still see the backdrop of Canary Wharf from behind. It's the first place I've been in my life where I've really seen the difference of two completely different places within that exact same city. And you can walk it. I've been walking for maybe 10 minutes and totally different place. And one thing I've heard about the Isle of Dogs as well as Poplar is the education levels. I want to say the statistic is about 12% haven't had any formal qualifications ever, period. And as a result, that does feed into some of the deprivation as well. Oh wow, it looks like they've got some sort of mini high street thing going on here. Let's check it out, see what shopping you can do here. There's an off license, the usual sort of things. I haven't seen a vape shop yet though. It's quite rare for the UK, isn't it? No vapes in the window. You've got a fish and chip shop. Western community, masjids. What else have you got? I don't know what that is, by the way. Don't know what a masjid is. It sounds like a maybe Muslim community meetup thing. I'm not entirely sure. It's just bloody empty. I mean, it is a Tuesday afternoon, but yeah, it's just bloody empty. No one's really about. Wow, that's cool. See, that's a sign there might be a slightly dodgy areas. You've got those sort of cages around the front doors of the houses. But once again, don't feel unsafe or anything like that. I am lost, by the way, just that sort of just sunk into my head. I am lost, but apart from that, I just feel very, very safe. Honestly, I'm just shocked. I mean, London is in the top 3 richest cities in Europe. I'm one of the richest in the world. You would think the wealth inequality would be rather low, right? But look at it. I'm going to try and get some stats up on the general salaries of people in Isle of Dogs versus Canary Wharf, because that would be really interesting to see. I want to interview someone, but literally no one's around. Okay guys, we're back here in Canary Wharf. We're gonna have to walk through the centre and then up north, so the opposite way of where we've come. Then we'll end up in a town called Poplar, and that is another place that we're gonna have a little look at. I've heard some interesting things about it, so yeah, let's go and check it out. Now that is truly crazy what I'm looking at right here. Pretty much flat, then you turn around and it's a completely different world. Except it's not, so let's go further back that way and let's see what Tower Hamlets has to offer us. Hopefully good stuff. I like good stuff. You know it's getting funky when you start seeing the litter just needlessly everywhere. I don't know how well the camera even picks it up, but just trash everywhere. Which unfortunately is a thing I've noticed over the few years. England has a trash problem and people are just throwing stuff all over the streets. It's almost like the British people, maybe me and myself included, have almost half given up on the country, and we shouldn't. Many years, increasingly so with each new government, of disaster after economic disaster, austerity in 2010 making everyone poorer, whilst the tax burden's at all-time highs. The rich not paying tax, your tax havens abroad, remember them, remember those scandals still going on today. And as a result, there's not enough investment to go to every single town, and they have to choose. And would they rather put it in Tower Hamlets, or would they rather put it in Westminster? Unfortunately, Westminster's going to win every single time from the government's perspective. And as a result, the people here have to suffer. It's safe to say I do stick out a little bit. With Isle of Dogs, obviously I've been there very briefly before, albeit only for an hour or so, whereas here I've never been to before, so we'll see how it goes. Never been here, don't know what it looks like, don't know if the high street's that way, there are loads of people that way, so we're gonna go this way where it's a bit more peaceful. Let's check it out. Look at the state of this. The bin's not even half full and they've given up and chucked it there. But the architecture as well changes quite significantly, even compared to the Isle of Dogs. I would say this is easily a tier above in terms of how it looks. The reason for that, it's got one of the highest amounts out of any borough or any part of all of London of people who live in social housing, people on benefits, right? So people here, it's 35.8%, which is insanely high. Insanely high. The more I think about it, the more crazy that is. But when I'm looking at these houses here, it says everything you need to know. It really does. Look at that magpie. It's trying to get into the... Oh, it's given up. Sorry, that was the most entertaining thing in this entire video, I am sure. Alright guys, we're here in one of the council estates of Poplar, the most deprived part of London, inside of that most deprived part of London. So, I must say, everyone's got quite nice cars, like fairly modern, so... I'm semi-questioning the statistics. Obviously the houses here cost way more than anything I can bloody afford. It's in London. That brings me on to the important discussion that needs to be had about gentrification. Is it doing England any good? Is it doing England any bad? The problem, and something that a lot of people have said when I was talking to locals online before I came here doing my research, is a lot of people are feeling that the house prices are getting so expensive here, as of all of London, but especially Poplar, because of the gentrification that's coming out of Isle of Dogs, that's coming out of Canary Wharf. As a result, many richer people are moving in here, buying the social housing. It's pushing the costs up, and it's pushing people out, whether on social housing or if they're on a freehold or a leasehold, it's still pushing people out a lot. And it's a shame. It's a shame because people are making London bigger and bigger. We've got a population issue as it is. and it's forcing people out into the countryside. It's going to knock down more trees, and you're going to see more estates just like this one. This is the nicest smelling street. It just smells of masala dosa and roti, and I'm actually quite hungry. I don't know whose window it's coming from. Oh, I wish you could smell this. This is insane. Once again, guys, there's more than I can bloody afford. I'm still living with my bloody parents. It's the house bloody crisis is what it is. And people wonder why everyone's moving out in the country. I've semi-done a video on this already, so you can check that out. But housing's just way too expensive for the average person. No matter what your skin colour is, no matter half the jobs that are in this country, you need really to live in London high 40 grands to afford to live here. I mean, probably outside of London in the southeast, mid 30s realistically, if you want to live on your own. It's mental, isn't it? Holy shit, I've never seen that much trash just thrown into there. There's like tablets, nappies, plasters, drinks. Like, come on guys. I know there isn't too many bins in London, but you're literally in a residential area. You probably live around the corner. I don't understand why some people just can't find a bin. Rubbish. Oh, there's a bottle filled with quite possibly urine. There is quite possibly urine. Please don't be urine. Now I think there should be some sort of market up ahead. There's quite a lot of abandoned buildings, but in the middle there's these markets. It's New Britain. Let's check it out. Oh, look at all the rugs, guys. That's amazing. So many different colours. No matter what country I'm in, I've always been a sucker for a good market. Even if you're not buying anything, it's just fun to like look around and see what there is. Look at that, you've got some shirts there. Town centre's obviously seen better days, right? But the market's cool. I like this. Wow, it seems like there's vegetables over there or something. Once again, guys, this smells bloody amazing. I don't know where the food's coming from. Obviously this is like the fruit pit and stuff, but it smells bloody amazing. Crikey. Nothing better than the smell of fruits and stuff. We found this in Luton. I've forgotten the name of the pub, but when we did the Luton video, we found something like this there, and you could buy all sorts of fruits and stuff that you can't get in like an English supermarket. It's stuff I've never seen before, and it smells absolutely amazing. There you go, so many rugs as well. All sorts of different colours. All sorts of different patterns as well. You've got like tigers, you've got flowers, all sorts. Looks so cool. And a bath mat. It's a bit random, but I suppose would that classify as a rug? Bath mat. I brought some like masala flavoured Indian crisps. I think they're from Karelia, the lady said, or Kerala. The lady said, so I want to try them, but I'm trying to find like somewhere to sit, but I can't really find anywhere, so yeah, I'm going on a bench hunt to see if there's anything I can do, because I don't want to stand up and eat. I want to taste this. Ah, there we go. Well, I've got a view of someone's sofa they've just left. I've got some of Karela's greatest snacks. We've got nimbu masala. I don't know what it is. Looks like some sort of potato and chickpea noodle, as they call it. Full of like a masala dosa sort of spice on the top. So this is like proper Indian stuff. I can see it's all in Urdu, Hindi, Bengali, and a little bit of English at the bottom. So yeah, let's give it a go. Oh, it's good. It literally just tastes like a curry. Literally just tastes like a curry. I know it's a very white man thing to say, but it just does. Nice and spicy as well. Gives you a really nice kick at the end. Absolutely delicious. Okay, so that was the main market here in Poplar. That was really interesting to try some fairly local food as well. I'm saying it as if from a different country, but you are. I mean, pretty much the only white person in there. Weirdly though, I was looking into some of the shops and 70% of them are obviously for like the Bangladeshi community and 30% of them are for white people. And you get these British sort of cafes or something like that, and inside those cafes it's completely just full of white people and no Bangladeshi people. And then you look at the Bangladeshi shops and it's full of Bangladeshi people and no white people. And it's like, then there's me who's just eating like Masala dosa crisps basically. Oh god. What a life, what a weird time, what a weird place. If you're enjoying the video, enjoying any of my other videos, just check out the links in my description. There's a few bits and bobs where you can support the channel. Thank you very much. Let's get back to the video. And lastly, the #1 worst part of all of London, out of any borough, is gonna have to go to, and yes, you guessed it, it's gonna have to go to Croydon. Where do we start with Croydon? Probably arguably the most dangerous, maybe outside of Westminster, out of any other borough in London. It's got the highest crime rate to my knowledge, or at least when I was filming it. Could have potentially changed. Yeah, you just don't feel safe walking down there. I was actually filming the video with my bloody hood up half the time. It just wasn't a nice area. There's nothing to really do or see there. Like, they've got a few malls dotted around, but everywhere's got a mall. Tower Hamlets probably has a mall. Well, Canary Wharf technically. So with that, there's not too much to do. No one's really friendly there. It's your classic sort of London scene where everyone keeps to themselves, but that's just London in general. Is what separates Croydon from the rest is just the levels of deprivation, but in particular just the crime rate there is just absolutely staggering. Anyways, let me show you exactly what happens when I was there. Just wanted to see what a random neighbourhood feels like, and it feels pretty much normal to anywhere in south sort of London really. Someone's like number plate. The joys of visiting Pearly Croydon. Anyway, let's go up a little bit further. We'll walk down this neighbourhood a little bit, see if we can find anything half interesting to put in the video. Then we'll drive into Croydon. I'll show you the town centre, maybe find a park or something. But I'm just trying to see, you know, what is Purley like, because there's probably 1 or 2 videos on Croydon out there, but there's not too much on Purley. So I don't even know if this is a bad area or not. I probably should have researched before I came, but to be honest, it just looks like a fairly normal suburban London area, to be honest. So if my calculations are correct, if I walk down this street long enough, we should come somewhere in between Thornton Heath, which I've heard is quite notorious, and basically central Croydon. So we'll try and sort of circle back into central and see what we can find there, but hopefully it gets a little bit interesting on the walk over there. That's the plan, at least. But yeah, so far, as I say, I've been walking for about 10-20 minutes now. Just looks like a normal street, to be honest. And sometimes when I make these videos, I do question, you know, is it really that bad? I mean, when I was doing the research, compared to East London, where it's more, people have been describing on Reddit, for example, is more sort of ghetto, and here's obviously a bit more wealthy. It's less deprived, right? But obviously there's a big gang presence here, especially between Lambeth and Croydon at the moment. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but there is a big sort of presence in terms of the gang. So, but I think as long as you're just a normal person, you're not going to bother them. I don't think they're going to bother you, to be honest. We'll see how that pans out though. Look at this, literally just fly tipping everywhere. Like, some tips are free, some tips they charge a little bit, but come on, just pay like the tenner, the 20 quid, man, Jesus. People are just dumping all sorts, not a care in the world. And there, you've got a random trolley. No matter where you go, whether it's a nice area or a bad area, there'll always be a trolley. Never forget. It's still carrying on, by the way. still going on. So much free stuff here. Still, it's actually quite depressing to be honest. But the camera don't pick it up very well, but it just carries on forever. There's even stuff in the trees, like it's blown away into the trees. This is something I wanted to show you here. Even though we're basically in Thornton Heath at this point, or nearish enough that area, a place with a terrible reputation for gang murders, violence, stabbings, also is the stab capital of the UK, it's quite gentrified, and that is still continuing to happen here. All of the houses behind me too here probably doesn't pick up too well, it's such a gloomy day, but they're quite modern, and the house prices here, yes, they're lower than a lot in London, but interestingly there's not too much difference between here and East London for when I was doing the research, when I was looking. So it begs the question, why is East London so deprived in comparison to South, even though they've got fairly comparable crime rates, and mainly violent crime is actually worse here, some people have been saying. The problem with those crime rate stats though is you look on one website and it will say one thing, you look on another website and it will say another thing, so you never really know. And you'll go one day and we'll have a nice vibe, and you go another day and you'll shit yourself. So you can never tell with these crime rates. A statistic came out basically saying that the UK was one of the most miserable places to live in the world. In fact, we came like second, and I think the first was Uzbekistan or something, somewhere in Central Asia. And you look around, and it, you know, why would you stay here as a white young man when you could move to Thailand, so where the people are happy? Yes, it's poorer, but the people are happy, the food's better, the weather's better, everyone's genuinely a very nice person, and the crime rates are way lower. I mean, no wonder the country's getting no funding and everyone's moving out. Lambeth Road. I actually think this image right here sums up London perfectly. In the back you could see the super modern housing estate, and in front you've got a trolley, you've got all sorts in front. Just goes to show how big wealth inequality is. Even in a first world country, so-called first world country anyway, it's still like so different. I mean, I can see, I'm going to turn the camera around, I don't know where you can see this, but you can see some proper almost skyscrapers really, can't you? And that will be East Croydon, which is the wealthy part. And here in sort of central west, I mean, you've got houses that look like they're basically falling down, right? I mean, in comparison, my sort of thoughts on the comparison between here and like Poplar, for example, here's definitely wealthier for sure. In terms of how dangerous it feels, I'm going at 2 PM, so it's hard to say. At night, you know, you go to Thornton Heath near Lambeth, in between Lambeth and here, obviously it's going to be a totally different story, but you know, feels somewhere in the middle, you know. And this is what life is like for a lot of people who live in London, one of the richest cities in the world. This is one of the estates. You've got the soundtrack of basically police sirens all the time behind you. You're staying in these buildings and the weather's like this. And guaranteed they've got more money than I have because they live in London. That's the mad thing about the entire situation. And what can it get you? What can 500 grand a year get you after stamp duty, after tax, after this, after that, after inflation? Well, it can barely get you something like this. To be honest, you do wonder if these kind of places are still going to exist in 10 years, in 100 years. We seem to just be going round in circles as a nation. 10 years plus of Tories, just austerity, no investment, nothing. And then Labour, who are, if anything, worse, literally just ransacking the population for themselves. That's all they care about is money. I mean, but then if you look at the polls, the Tories are now winning again. How is that even possible? People forget, the public forget too easy. We need to get out of this two-party situation, because all you're going to get is the same, and the same. Just look around you. So I think it's called to prayer here in London or something, because in that mall there were quite a few people just lying down and just praying on the floor, which is, I've never seen that before in the UK. Obviously Islam is the fastest growing religion here, and in Croydon it's probably no surprise that it is quite a big religion here. So yeah, that was quite weird to see. I didn't want to just go up to random people and film them praying though, but hopefully we got a little bit of that on camera just to show you, because otherwise people in the comments are going to say, oh, you're lying, you've got some agenda to push. No, I'm literally just showing you exactly what I see, and that's what I saw. So love it or hate it. Behind me here is the east of Croydon. As you can tell by the bigger buildings, it is a little bit more affluent, but at least is what I was told. I was walking down the street, which I'm going to walk back down now for you guys. It doesn't look anything like that. There's like, some of the banks have been smashed up. I've never seen so many abandoned stores in like a part of London as well either. I'm not impressed, to be honest. If anything, it looks pretty much the same as West Croydon, which I was impressed with compared to its reputation. So let me show you. You can see it, someone's literally trying to like brick the bank. That is wild. Literally all of this bit down here, minus that shop, and this bit all down here is just closed down. It feels very, very different. It still goes on for a while until you get to the gambling area, then it picks back up again. It's the only way they can, well, the high street can make money these days. Just behind me here we've got one of the main markets. I'm going to go down there and show you what you can get. Mainly it's sort of vegetables and fruit and stuff, but it's mega fresh. It smells properly nice here. We've got a random rug shop, but the rest of it, it's all sort of fruit, vegetables, proper fresh stuff, which to be fair, you don't really see anymore. You just see the big supermarkets, but it's nice they've got all these stalls that are selling actually fresh stuff that's actually going to go to a real person, minus Keir Starmer's take of it obviously, but it's nice to see. It's different. I like it.
Hello.
We're in Croydon. McDonald's literally has a security guard. It's a guard of McDonald's. That's when you know England is finished, when you need a security guard for McDonald's. That is mental. Once again, it's the old like dishevelled buildings and a nice one. Dishevelled building, a nice one. It's just so weird to see. And behind me, I don't even know what the hell this is. I mean, it looks like it used to be something. I mean, it doesn't look like it's being built into anything, does it? But maybe that was a park or just a nice sort of looking roundabout. I have no idea, but certainly doesn't look the best anymore. Oh yeah, underpass. That doesn't look like dangerous at all, does it? That looks really like legal things have been going on in here. If you ever come to Croydon, there's a few main shocks you'll have. Number one is going to be the lack of open shops. Now it's not too bad compared to some places, but we've got to remember this is the capital city of one of the biggest cities in all of Europe, right? So could it be to do with something money laundering? They just have the shops and they're just closed most of the time to make it realistic or whatnot. I have no idea. And number two is pretty much everywhere that you're gonna walk across is, well, how do I say this? It's gonna smell of weed, basically. Every single spot is gonna smell of weed. If you like weeds, then great. If you don't like weeds, then it's probably quite bad, but everywhere's gonna smell of weed. And thirdly, there's gonna be a lot of abandoned places. We didn't really get a chance to explore any today, but pretty much maybe 1 out of every 4 buildings, they're just gonna be some sort of like abandoned one, usually residential ones. And I don't exactly know what the story is behind a lot of abandoned residential areas in Croydon, but that's definitely the case that's happening. Compared to the other places we've been to on this channel, I'd rather live here than Sheerness, for starters, if you want my honest opinion, no buttered up or anything. It's definitely richer, and there's probably more to do than the East London areas of Poplar and Isle of Dogs. Statistically, it is probably a bit more dangerous. Now that top 3 was based off my personal experience. You might have a totally different opinion. You probably don't, but if you do, let me know in the comments. What is the top 3 worst boroughs in all of the London? And do you want to see the top 3 best boroughs? Probably not, judging by the views when I do positive videos. People like to see the negatives of things. So yeah, let me know what the top 3 worst ones are in all of London. We'll see if we agree with some of them. And with that, guys, I'll see you in another video. See you later. I think I'm lost, actually.